Hello, it's Mike Yao with Savage Kingdom's role-playing game and Fire in the Head Productions. There's my shirt. Wearing my t-shirt, my Savage Kingdom shirt. You can get that t-shirt and other designs at savagekingdoms.net, our official website, and also the Facebook company page, Savage Kingdoms slash Facebook no Facebook.com/Savage Kingdoms. You can find it on there. Yeah, so shameless plug out of the way for t-shirts. Awesome. Now on to the video. So I just wanted to do a quick update about what was going on. I haven't done a video in probably 7 or 8 weeks, probably 8 weeks, other than the live gameplays, which some people have been watching, which is great. So if you haven't noticed, to kind of keep you in the loop, we are now beginning to post live Savage Kingdoms gameplays. There's several campaigns going on. There's the Windstone of Selendor, alternating Wednesdays, and then the alternating Wednesday that's not that one is Dark Tides, Savage Kingdom's Dark Tides. That was really the first campaign that kind of launched it, kind of all this Zoom recorded madness that we're doing. And there were a couple like little one-offs as well, but those are the two main campaigns going on right now. So go and check out on my YouTube channel, Mike Yao. Might soon change it to like Savage Kingdoms, but I think it's right now just under my name, Mike Yao. Mike YOW. So go check that out and check out the gameplays and see if you like them. Most of them last about they're between 3 and 4 hours. Uh, Average is probably three hours, 3:35 probably is like the average. So they're fairly long, but not much longer than a lot of other live gameplays that you probably see on YouTube, and in fact, in some cases, probably shorter. So check those out. I have some lovely cast members slash players. We started off pretty good with a bang. We had lots of views at the very first one. They've started to drop a little bit. And as an actor and a director and somebody who works in the performing arts and the entertainment industry, has me kind of, I'm like, why is that happening? Are we not dialing into our characters as much as we should? Perhaps our character voices are not as good as they should be, or whatever. And perhaps the GM is not good. That's me. So that would be my problem. But I think I'm okay. I think I'm all right. I've been doing this for a while, learned some tricks. But anyway, okay. So probably the real reason is that people get curious with the first episode. They're like, "Cool, let's check it out." And then it's like, "Oh my God, it's 3 hours and 47 minutes long." And maybe they don't stay with it long enough to count as a view or something. But you're still getting pretty good views. This is not a complaint, just an observation. But yeah, check those out if you haven't, and those of you who have, watched them. Thank you very much for supporting. Click like if you really like it. We have a few likes on some of them. Fortunately, no dislikes, which is awesome. But if you really like it, then yeah, show us a little love, like, and share. Apparently, that helps the YouTube algorithm, I think. Um, I always hear that. I don't really have the mathematical, statistical evidence of that, but that's what I hear, so I'm going to go with it. In any case, maybe it's a vanity thing. So yeah, like it, share it, let people know about it if you would like, people, friends of the gaming community, or people who just like fantasy in general. Yeah, so that out of the way, that's been going on recently. This is the first video I've done other than those live plays. So this is just a quick update video to let you know a couple things that are coming up. All right, so the next big project is that's coming up is the Savage East. So the Savage East is the next book in the third edition Savage Kingdoms 3 game line. Kind of like the previous two editions, or previous 1.5 editions technically. Um, it was also called the Savage East, and the Savage East also it covers the eastern part of the known world. So that's the continents of Hassan and Imanju. It also covers Mezca and the Isle continent, and then speaks a little bit about Ragnagard, which is like a polar sort of ice continent. The core rulebook mostly focused on Astaconia, which is kind of the Western European sort of continent. Uh, so I'm going back to the original way I did it with the very first edition, the original edition of Savage Kingdoms, where I had the core rule focused most on the west, and the Savage East focused on the east. And it also introduced new talents, new spells, new weaknesses, new races, new cultures, new elite, new orders and sects, elite affiliations, new equipment, that kind of stuff. Obviously, new lands to explore and all that other stuff that goes along with it. So, and now it's married together into one grand sort of setting. So that's the plan. In the recent edition with Reforged, I kind of put it all together. That's why it was called Reforged, and the book was massive, which is right here. So those of you who have bought this behemoth, I appreciate it, and I'm very proud of it, and I love it. But it was a little too big, so we went back to the original model of having a core rulebook and then an expansion supplement called the Savage East, which in fact covered the East and sort of the South of the known world. So that's the plan this time. So the Savage East is about, I'd say I'm about 75% done with it, maybe close to 80, between 70 and 80% written. Then it'll be, some editing and all the normal production stuff that goes along with it, graphic design. Michael Scott Phillips is probably, I think, looks like to be on board again. He helped, or did, lay out the core rulebook, which I know I've shown before, but let's do it again, shall we? This right there. This also a behemoth, but not quite as behemoth as the book that I just previously showed you. This is actually 400 pages, almost, I think, exactly. That was the goal. And the Reforged book, I think, is 474, so almost 480 pages. So, which is great, but I think it was just a little too big, so I'm really happy with that size. So the Savage East will probably, I'm looking at 280 to 300. I would say probably 300 pages, so about 3/4 of the size of that one. So lots of content. I've been fortunate enough to have some, kind of critics or in the past, or reviewers in the past, that some of the best stuff they would say is that they always felt like there was tons of content, like tons, and perhaps almost even too much. And so I would rather have too much content than too little. I want people to get their money's worth, and I'm excited about my setting, and I want to share it. And even in these two books, those of you who are world builders would know what I'm talking about. That still only covers like 20% of probably what's in my, like, what's the setting. There's still 80% that's like just in my head. It's never been articulated correctly or not written down anywhere. Or maybe it is written down in some side note that I've forgotten about. But anyway, it's good to have at least the base setting out there for people. And the Savage East will kind of complete all of that. If the game line ends up being steadily successful, I mean, it's a very small game, so successful is it's all relative. I think it's successful for its size. Then maybe there'll be a third book that expands. Maybe there'll be another bestiary. Obviously, the plan right now is, instead of doing a separate bestiary book, this is what I keep looking at, by the way, finding a reason to pick it up. So this was the Reforged. I'm holding it upside down, apparently. The Reforged version, in other words, the second or 1.5 edition bestiary book, as you can see. Not nearly as thick as the others, but still sizable and nice hardcover. Very beautiful. So that was a separate one, but I think the idea this time is I want to put so new creatures will just be in the Savage East bestiary part, because most of the new creatures are creatures mostly from the eastern part of the setting. There's still some western creatures or creatures that are in all areas, or you could use in all areas as a game master. You can make that choice yourself. So maybe there'll be a third book with a bestiary, but right now the plan is that we had a decent amount in the core rule book, but not a lot, because you want to cover all the other stuff. And then the Savage East will have a pretty good sized bestiary, probably twice the size as the core rule book's bestiary. Plus, it has new talents and all the stuff that I listed earlier, talents and cultures and races and weaknesses and sects and orders and spells and new equipment and all that lovely stuff. And then the Gazetteer section that covers all the lore and the stuff about the cosmology and the gods and the religions and that sort of thing, all the belief system, all that stuff that makes a setting full and rounded and real. So yeah, sorry, I was just checking my text from my wife. Good, she's good, she's fine. It was just some stuff. Okay, so got distracted there. So I will be done with the writing of Savage East hopefully by the end of March. Setting myself a loose. I'm starting a show because I'm an actor, as some of you may probably already know. So finally, I'm starting to get kind of busy again after 2020 was such a, yeah, as we all know, pretty much to all of us, was really bad. losing work and stuff like that as far as an actor goes. Um, but so it's starting to pick back up again. So I actually booked my first voiceover gig, which is really cool for a video game. I'm going to rehearsal. I have a show opening March 18th for the Weir, playing Jack from the Weir again. It's a good Irish play from Conor McPherson, and I've done it before about 4 years ago. And another play, Dent and the Dragon, that I'm playing Dent and the Dragon in. It's like a children's musical that's being in development, and some. I just got through playing Curly from the Three Stooges. Yeah, wise guy. Yeah, yeah. Which is interesting on a musical that's in development to hopefully perform around the country. I think, hopefully, I don't know, maybe Broadway. Who knows? We might get lucky. So that's to say that I've been getting busy with acting and other stuff, which is awesome, but it has prevented me a little bit from writing on the Savage East. But I'm getting there. So if it's completed at the end of March, we will probably kickstart it. Almost certainly do another Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign. We just don't really have the budget to um, pay for more art and more layout and design. So we'll probably have to kickstart again. Again, very small, very small company. It's really basically just me with occasionally some volunteers or somebody that I hire, like Michael Phillips or somebody. So yeah, so we'll probably have to kickstart. So hopefully, you guys will support that. I know that I do have some fans and fellow players that are really looking forward to the Savage East. So hopefully, we can get them times 10 or times 20 more people to get excited and kind of support it. Times 50 would be even greater. So I think it's going to be a really cool book. It's going to be just adding more to the awesomeness of the core rule book, but possibly even better, honestly. So yeah, so it's going to be great. So look for that. Other projects coming up. I guess the last thing I wanted to share. Oh no, wait. So the Blood Maiden is also out. It's a published module that's up on Drive Through RPG. Check that out. I published that. I keep doing that for some reason. 3 months ago. It's pretty cheap. It's only like $2.99, I think. To download that's like a 30-page adventure. It's kind of cool, I think. Pretty easy to game master. That was kind of the point, but yet also sort of detailed enough. So hopefully I accomplished both of those. And let's see, the last thing I wanted to share was I'm going to start trying to do a few more videos other than just the gameplay, start doing more videos like this. I know they're not very fancy. Eventually, I might get to doing graphics and text and that sort of thing on the screen, but right now I just don't really quite have the time nor the savvy, really, to be honest. But I figure stuff out pretty easily, actually. Well, not easily, but I do figure out stuff usually. I will eventually, so I might, I'll start tinkering around with that. But right now, the videos are just going to be kind of raw like this. I usually do all these in one take, maybe two. Don't edit them, as you can clearly tell. So, but I'm thinking about putting out kind of a series. I'm doing quotes again for some weird. I'm this air quote mood for some reason today. A series of videos that kind of deal with the Savage Kingdom setting because I've been starting, get some questions from now and then. It's really cool. I get, you get rules questions, but recently I've been getting more lore questions, like more people interested in the setting than even so much the game mechanics, which I actually find interesting. I find that telling. I find that means people are, to me, that means people are more engaged with the game than if they were just worried about the game mechanics all the time. Honestly, that means they're what's the term we use? There's a resonance. You're resonating with your material. You're making a connection with the deeper dives of the setting of the milieu that you're involved in. So that's a good thing. So I will start doing these little videos about, like, the first one might be about Eredor and the Kingdom of Eredor, maybe going in alphabetical order. Next one might be about Brithia or Athlon, to go back to the A's. Kimrith and the Emerald Islands, or the Pridonian Isles, the Larinthian Empire. These are all from the Western continent. And then as the Savage East starts to kind of be released, then I'll probably start covering some of the Eastern lands. Anyway, it's just a thought. Let me know if you think that's cool or if you think that's a complete waste of time. Just let me know, but I'll probably do them anyway. Maybe. So, yeah, I think that's all I got. I wanted to keep this at 15 minutes, and it's 14:39 right now. So, thanks for listening. Hopefully, that rambling catches everyone up. The Savage East coming out soon. The Blood Maiden Adventures for sale at Drive-Thru RPG. Check out, get a t-shirt, t-shirt if you want it. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching.